why don't we shift to the next topic, which is related to your roadmaps. So big topic here. When we think of a RevOps roadmap at OpFocus, we're thinking of interviews with many departments. We're thinking of something that looks like 9 to 18 months out into the future, that's keeping track of what are the biggest goals of the company, what are the strategies toward that, and then how can RevOps support that. It's a big topic because a lot of times, we have the question about, oh, can you share your roadmap? And we sort of start with this pile of tech debt, but I know all of us want to get out free from the pile of tech debt and work on the big stuff. How do each of you define your roadmaps? Maybe Heidi, do you want to start with that?
Sure. I try to always keep the 90-day the most clear and defined, because if you're changing your 90-day frequently, something else is amiss. But after that, I have a 6-month and a year. I'd love to say I have a 2-year right now, but I don't, because one, being very new to it, to this role at SecurityScorecard, the amount of tech debt, you're still trying to isolate and figure out which ones will make the most impact first. So whether it be implementing CPQ, which we're just about to kick off, or kicking off the integration with Zendesk, because we've had all the siloed systems, trying to create the 360 view of the customer. I prioritize those, estimate the delivery time. And I'm a huge fan of under promise, over deliver, and then build from there. So a bottoms up model and as well as a tops down. And then if you want me to do all this to impact, I'll need +1 headcount here. So I actually try to use it for a hiring advantage.
The negotiation begins. That's great. How about you, Kate?
Actually, really similar to Heidi. So my team, we do case reviews where we can see where the most of our cases are coming, and we try to look at those so that if there's items we need to fix, then we're putting those onto the roadmap. We kind of look at it quarterly, but we have 5 quarters out most of the time. Typically it's like the next 3. And then we kind of have this like list that we know that we have to get to, but we're not really sure exactly when. It's like not on fire yet, but it's something we have to think about. We work with our sales leadership team, our marketing teams, our finance teams. We kind of know those hot topics that we have to either, take care of now, or it's something we have to address next quarter. So we talk to the group. It's the same thing, top down, bottom up, same as Heidi. And it's really about, we know that there's things that are going to pop up, and it's about managing the expectations. And the same thing is like, we can add this on, but that means that this item will be taken off and we'll have to move it out by 6 weeks or something. Or, if you'd like us to do it all, then, is there someone else in the company that can help us take care of one of these, or do we hire? So, it's really important to be flexible, because we know there's always things that are coming up, but you want to stick to it as best as you can. And make sure that Justin or Heidi was talking about this earlier, is that, we were so used to being ticket takers, and I'm really trying to move us into a strategic position, because these are really important, and they impact not just our sales team, but they impact the other teams as well. So that's, we have a team meeting at the beginning of every quarter where we review what we had listed, and we put together project plans, and that's kind of how we continue throughout the year. And we have 2 weekly team meetings to ensure we're on track on each of those. We discuss anything that has to push for various reasons, and who we have to communicate out to based on any changes.
Oh, that's great. How about in your organization, Justin?
Yeah, we haven't, our different teams have an annual roadmap, so we've got a pretty good lineup for what the rest of the year looks like. From a systems perspective, we've got something incredibly overwhelming, but also really exciting for anybody that's ever had to rebuild an enterprise application stack. Unless you're a consultant, if you're a full-time employee at a company, this is typically a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you get to rebuild what you have. So we've got an 18-month roadmap ahead of us from a systems perspective, where we are rebuilding our systems based on where the organization is going and growing to. I mean, it's an opportunity to just take a big what do you call it?
Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer to the technical debt and say, enough with you. We're rebuilding with a business process mindset first, using all the latest and greatest that the tech has to offer. It's a well-socialized program within the organization. We've got great executive buy-in. So that's a big 18-month project that we're making really good progress on. So it's an exciting one for us.
Yeah, that's great. And, I think what we've all encountered in our personal lives. We've seen a road that we drive on every day, beautifully repaved, and then a week later it's being dug up for a new gas pipe or something. You go, why on earth? And we want to avoid that within our systems by putting together a thoughtful roadmap, and it includes things such as the perceived priority, the level of effort, but then also that sequencing, which is one of the harder things, especially when we're talking about a rich tech stack. One of the harder things to think through and try to get right, but still a worthy effort to try to avoid paving and digging as opposed to digging and paving.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest fears, is that in the process of rebuilding, we're rebuilding with tech debt in place. You're like, no, are we sure we're doing the right thing here?
One thing I'd like to add, it's a little bit tactical and it addresses one of the questions I saw pop up, to help justify to hire. If you know your company's revenue goals for the next year, you can back into, okay, what's our ASP? How do we reach that goal? What are the number of transactions? What do we need to do to support that? And you can really back into, all right, my team's capacity is X. Here we need to reach Y, figure out how to get to Z. So there are other math, data-driven ways that you can prove it.
The other thing I wanted to mention too on roadmap is making sure you align to your company goals. Is whenever we review what we have on our roadmap, it's always like, do these align to our company objectives? Do they align to the sales team objectives? And then my boss's 3 favorite words that we measure everything against is clarity, consistency, and alignment. So as long as we are matched on those items, like that's how we get the stamp of approval. So when something, there's always those projects that come in from left field. We always are saying, all right, do they align to the company goals? Do they align to our sales goals? And is there consistency, alignment, and oh my gosh, consistency, clarity. Thank you. So that also helps us too to manage that roadmap.